Hello and welcome here to Talk HCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys. I am back with more transfer news in this transfer roundup video. We're going to be going over everything that's happened in the last week or so concerning Barcelona. A lot of names being thrown around, a little bit of movement on the Verratti deal, not a lot going on with Semedo or Bellerin, but there have been a few names thrown around in the last week while I have been away, and we're going to be discussing all of that and more in today's video. So first of all, guys, very much thanks for your patience over the last week or so. Like I said before, I have been on holiday. Thanks for all those comments before I left. I really appreciate it. Thanks as always for your support. Back now that I am with the transfers, and first of all, let's start with what is, like I said before, the biggest transfer or potential transfer of the window. Marco Verratti exiting PSG. Will it happen or won't it? This week has seen a lot of different slants being put on the deal. Spanish press in particular today have been going on the offensive with this. They've been saying that Verratti is very much now trying to force his way out of PSG. Now, we know that PSG are a very, very difficult club to deal with, and in particular, Nasser Al-Khelaifi, the PSG owner, is a very, very difficult man to deal with and can be very, very stubborn indeed. We've seen it in the past with Marquinhos and with Thiago Silva as well. Now, the reports certainly say that Verratti is adamant that he wants to leave this summer, and he absolutely does. Now, there was reports that PSG, in the midst of all this, wanted to offer Verratti a new deal, and then it sort of seemed like, is this another case of Thiago Silva? Is this another case of Marquinhos, where they just used this little bit of leverage? They wanted a new deal, and then they would have got it from the PSG owner, who is, of course, mega rich. That, though, has not happened. PSG have offered Verratti a 12 million per year contract, which is definitely an upgrade on what he's got at the moment. Al-Khelaifi has offered that to him, and Verratti has simply said no. He's rejected the new contract offer, and he has no intention of signing a new deal with PSG in the near future. He says, doesn't matter what you offer me, I want to leave this summer. It's not about money, it's about ambition. That is clear now, that Verratti is not interested in a new deal. He wants to leave the club. Now, Verratti has been on holiday in Ibiza, coincidentally the same place where Lionel Messi has been on his holidays this summer. And apparently he's ready to cut his holiday short in Ibiza to go back to Paris to have showdown talks with the owner himself face to face. Verratti has reportedly wanted to meet him. He wanted to sit down face to face and say, look, I want to leave. But it is said that Nasser Al-Khelaifi is still wanting to stand his ground. He still wants Verratti to stay at the club, and he still has no intention of selling him. That is the reports coming out of Spain this week, that the owner is unmoved on his stance. But Verratti will keep trying everything that he can to potentially force his way out this summer. Now, apparently, this came out earlier on in the week, that Verratti apparently was wanting to say, you know what, I'm not even going to come back to pre-season training if you don't let me leave. Apparently, he has threatened to not turn up at PSG's training camp ahead of the new season. That is not scheduled for another few weeks yet, so we won't know whether that's true or not. That does sound extreme, and if that does happen, you do start to question whether this move could go through, because if Verratti does enough, if he does enough to force this move from his own side, it could really happen, and he's going to have to really put his foot down, but that could well happen. We'll have to wait and see. There's been lots of different reports about Verratti wanting to leave. It's all a little bit cloak and dagger at the moment. You don't really know what's happening. You don't really know the extent of what's going on. You don't really know what PSG are thinking in all this. Are they simply going to stand there all summer and say, no, it doesn't matter what you offer me? Because Barcelona reportedly only offered PSG 60 to 70 million in their first offer, which of course is nowhere near enough for Verratti. That is not even going to tempt PSG. We're going to need a lot more money than that to make this deal happen. Barcelona have got to do their job, and most importantly, Verratti has got to force himself out if this move is going to happen. We're going to have to wait and see, but that is what we've heard in the last week or so. Verratti definitely wants to leave. He's rejected a new contract from PSG, but sadly the PSG owner is very much intent on keeping him at the moment. Now, I mentioned Semedo and Bellerin. At the start, of course, the two right-backs who have been heavily linked with Barcelona over the course of the transfer window. The Bellerin stance is still the same from Arsenal. They maintain that Bellerin is not for sale at any price this summer, and Arsenal themselves are very, very confident that Bellerin will not be leaving the club during this transfer window. They've said that from the start. Wenger has been very, very clear when he's been asked about it. Bellerin stays. So it seems like Bellerin at the moment is not a current target for Barcelona. Semedo is slightly different because Jorge Mendes was reported reportedly meeting with Barcelona's director of transfers, Roberto Fernandez, earlier on this week, and in that meeting it is not quite known whether they were discussing the transfer of Semedo to Barcelona or whether Jorge Mendes was offering a list of alternatives to Semedo. He has other clients, like for instance João Cancelo from Valencia, who Barcelona have been linked with in the past as well, and whether Mendes was discussing Semedo is still yet unknown. So we're not really sure who we're going to sign at right back yet. We are going to sign someone, but whether it'll be Semedo is yet to see what is going to happen. So again, nothing really to share on that story either. Now, here's the big name, and well, I say big name, here's the big story that's come out of Barcelona in the recent days, and it's actually come from Brazil, the news. First of all, Fox Brazil broke the news, and yesterday ESPN followed up on this report that Lucas Lima of Santos, the Brazilian midfielder, will be joining Barcelona in January of 2018 when his contract at Santos expires. He is going to join Barcelona on a free transfer. Now, that is a story that's coming out of Brazil. ESPN have picked up on that, and there is reports now that Neymar's good friend Lima will be joining Barcelona in January on a free transfer. His contract expires at Santos, where he's been. He's made 90-odd league appearances there. He's made 14 Brazilian caps, scoring 2 goals. He's 26 years old, an attacking midfielder. He's good on the ball. He's technically very good, but he's not really the kind of player that you expect to be coming into Barcelona. A free transfer you can understand. The wages are yet unknown, but the problem with this is Santos have actually said that they may well report Barcelona to FIFA because they feel that an illegal approach has been made without their permission to sign Lucas Lima. Now, it's all kicked off basically because Lucas Lima is Neymar's very, very good friend, and it's actually the report came when these two were in a poker tournament. They were in a sort of club, and reportedly Lima told around 50 people that night that he would be joining Barcelona in 2018. Now, we don't know if this is true. We don't really know whether Lucas Lima is going to be the player that Barcelona are targeting this summer, but it's an interesting deal, and I think, with so many of our deals coming from Brazil, the likes of in the past, you've had Henrique, you've had Kerrison, you've had Douglas, of course. There's been a lot of players that have come over from Brazil to Barcelona and they have not flourished. This looks like a deal which is going to be looked upon with a lot of scepticism. But at the same time, we've had some good deals. We've had Marlon in the last summer, who's worked out very, very well, a good financial deal for the club. We've had Neymar, of course, a very, very good player, brought in from Santos. But again, with that deal, there was a lot of complications, the way we went about it, the way the Barca board went about signing him with the tax issues and evading it, etc., etc. That causes problems. Are we now walking into more problems with Santos? They say they're going to report us to FIFA. They feel that an illegal approach has been made, tapping up, they called it, of their own player who's out of contract very, very soon. I'm not really doubting the financial aspect of the Lima story. I'm just questioning whether we need to be signing a 26-year-old midfielder from Brazil who's not really that proven. If he does turn out to be very, very good, it's a clever deal. He's coming on a free transfer, but like I say, we're not really sure how much wages he's going to be on yet, so we're going to have to wait and see on that. Whether or not this story is true, again, that is in question because none of the Spanish media have followed up on this story yet. It's all in Brazil and then ESPN following up on that story that was originally broken by Fox Brazil, but we'll have to wait and see on that one, guys. Let me know your thoughts. If you've watched Lucas Lima more extensively, what do you think he can bring to Barcelona? If he's signed, is he of the standard that we should be looking for? Let me know that down below. What I would say, though, he's not Douglas. I wouldn't treat him like an absolute castaway. He is a Brazilian international. He's a player that, does have some qualities, just not really sure he's the player that we should be pursuing right now. We should be looking at bigger and better targets, being the club that we are. And the final story is one of a lesser well-known nature. It's recently come out that Barcelona have agreed to sign Vitinho, again, another player coming in from Brazil. He's going to be coming in from Palmeiras, but he's agreed to join Barcelona B this summer. He's going to join for a loan fee of 1.5 million euros. The fee has already been announced, not officially, but they have agreed it with Palmeiras that at the end of the season, of the 2017-18 season, Barcelona can purchase Vitinho on a permanent deal. The fee has already been set for that if he does excel in his season on loan at Barcelona B. So he's a 19-year-old Brazilian midfielder, attacking midfielder again. So we're going to have to see how that one develops. It's a very, very similar deal to that we did with Marlon last summer. He came over originally on a loan deal. We paid to loan him, and then we had the buy figure set already at 5 million, which, like I say, was a very, very good financial deal for the club. So Vitinho could turn out to be a very, very good signing. But again, like all these stories, we're going to have to wait and see. And that's what's happening at this stage of the transfer window. We're coming to the end of June now. I think once July starts, we're going to start seeing more action, more confirmed concrete reports. At the moment, certainly in Spain, in Barcelona, Sport and Mundo Deputy were clutching at straws. They are. They go against each other every single summer. One of them will say one thing, then the other one will go and contradict them in another report. And that's what it's like all summer long. They're tit for tat, and you don't really know what to believe. At the moment, all that we know is Verratti definitely wants to leave PSG. He does. He wants to join Barcelona, but what we don't know is whether it'll happen. We don't know what PSG's stance is going to be. We don't know how much Barcelona are going to be prepared to offer. We have no idea whether Barcelona are pursuing Semedo. Portugal media say that we are. Nothing from the Spanish media at all. Bellerin at the moment seems off the cards. Arsenal have no intention at all of selling him this summer. Lucas Lima is still just a report. There's nothing confirmed on that, but it does appear there are some links within the Brazilian media about Lucas Lima. Another player that was a little bit linked with Barcelona was Paulinho. He's currently plying his trade in China, but the coach there, Felipe Scolari, which you'll all know, he came out and said that Paulinho is indispensable to the club and will not be sold. But for me, that was another rumour that you can take with a pinch of salt. That didn't mean anything. There was no substance at all to that. That was never going to happen. So when you read a rumour, guys, have a look at it, assess the situation, how many people are reporting it, how credible is the source. Always, let me know on Twitter, FCB Newsroom. A lot of you guys got in contact over the time that I was on holiday. I really appreciate that. Always happy to talk with you there and discuss transfers and the like. So let me know your thoughts down below, guys, on all of these issues. Like I say, nothing confirmed yet. In July, I would expect more things to be coming. But I'm back from holiday now, so the videos will be consistent and there will be constant updates on the transfers as they happen. I'll see you all very, very soon. But until then, as always, Vesca El Barça.